In the beginning, God created the sky and the earth. The earth had no shape, it was empty, the waters were dark. God's Spirit moved over the waters, and God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. God saw that the light was good. God separated light and darkness. God called the light a day, and he called the darkness night. And there was evening and there was morning. It was the first day. The sky and the earth means everything. God made the sky and the earth out of nothing. Before he did that, only God existed. To create means to make something that is completely new. This chapter uses the word create in only 3 verses. In verse 1, God created the sky and the earth. In verse 21, he created the first animals. In verse 27, he created people. God made light because it would be necessary later. Later, he made plants. Plants cannot grow if there is no light. Later, he made animals and men. They cannot see if there is no light. The story that is in this chapter has 6 parts. This verse is the end of the first part. Each part is called a day. Some people think that God made everything in 6 ordinary days, but the Hebrew word for day occasionally means an age. Some people think that God made everything in 6 long periods of time. And there was evening and there was morning. Some people think that this means an ordinary evening and an ordinary morning. If that is true, the 6 days must be 6 ordinary days, but perhaps it means one age ended and a new age began. And so the 6 days may mean 6 ages. After that, God said, "Let there be a space in the middle of the waters. Let it divide the waters into 2 parts." And God made a space. There were waters above the space and there were waters under the space, and it was so. God called the space sky. And there was evening and there was morning. It was the second day. The space is the sky or the atmosphere. The waters above the space may be outer space. That is where the sun and the stars are. The waters under the space are the seas. After that, God said, "Let the waters that are under the sky come together into one place. Let dry land appear." And it was so. God called the dry land earth. He called the waters that came together seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, "Let the earth produce grass. Let it produce plants that have seeds. Let it produce trees that have fruit with seeds. Let them be many different kinds." And it was so. The earth produced grass. It produced plants that have seeds. It produced trees that have fruit with seeds. They were many different kinds, and God saw that it was good. And there was evening and there was morning. It was the third day. The earth produced grass and plants and trees, but God controlled everything that happened. After that, God said, "Let there be lights in the sky. Let them separate day and night. They will mark seasons and days and years. And let these lights in the sky give light to the earth." And it was so. And God made the 2 great lights. The larger light ruled the day, and the smaller light ruled the night. God made the stars too. God put the lights in the sky so that they gave light to the earth. He put them there so that they ruled over the day and over the night. He put them there so that they separated light and darkness. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening and there was morning. It was the 4th day. God had not yet made animals and people. Later, when he made them, they would need periods to be active and periods to rest. So God made the sun and the moon divide time into days and months and years. After that, God said, "Let the waters produce many living animals, and let birds fly in the sky above the earth." So God created large animals in the sea. He created every animal that moves in the water. They were many different kinds. He also created every bird that has wings, and God saw that it was good. God promised good things to them. He said, "Have large families, increase so that you fill the seas and the skies." And there was evening and there was morning. It was the 5th day. God created animals. Animals were a new kind of living thing. They were quite different from plants. Animals have minds. Minds were a new kind of thing. Some of the animals lived in the sea. Some large animals lived in the sea. Some of the animals that God made were birds. After that, God said, "Let the earth produce living animals. Let them be many different kinds. Let the earth produce tame animals. Let it produce animals that crawl. Let it produce wild animals. Let them be many different kinds." And it was so. And God made the wild animals on the earth. He made the tame animals. He made everything that crawls on the ground. There were many different kinds, and God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let us make people who are images of us. Let them be similar to us. Let them rule over the fish of the sea. Let them rule over the birds of the air. Let them rule over the animals. Let them rule over the whole earth. Let them rule over every crawling animal that crawls on the earth." So God created people who were images of himself. He created them as images of God. He created man and woman. God promised good things to them. He said, "Have large families, increase so that you fill the earth. Rule over the earth. Rule over the fish in the sea. Rule over the birds that fly in the air. Rule over every living animal that moves on the earth." People are images of God. This does not mean that man's body is like God. Man's body is like an animal, but man's spirit is like God. And so man can know God. God said, "Let us make people." He did not say, "I will make people." Perhaps he said us, because he is three persons. He is the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. And he is also one God. But it is more likely that this is not the reason. The Hebrew word that means God is like a plural word. Perhaps that is why God called himself we. God created people. To create means to make something that is completely new. God told people to rule over the earth and the sea and the birds and the animals. Therefore, we are responsible for the whole earth. We must look after it and we must take care of it. That is part of our duty to God. God said, "Look, I have given to you every plant in the whole earth that produces seeds. I've given to you every tree that produces fruit with seeds. They are your food. I have given all the green plants to the animals on the earth. I have given them to the birds that fly in the air. I have given them to the animals that crawl on the earth. I have given them to everything that is alive. The plants are their food." And it was so. God saw everything that he had made. It was truly very good. And there was evening and there was morning. It was the sixth day. God gave plants to people as food. Later, God gave animals to people as food too. See Genesis 9:3. Everything was truly very good. God himself said so. But after that time, evil things came into the world. The devil, who is called Satan, persuaded man and woman to do wrong things. See Genesis 3:1-6.